Brooke Henderson and Lydia Ko, two young prodigies who didn't just break into the sport, they shattered expectations. They were often referred to as the rising stars of women's golf, but their rivalry quickly escalated into something much more intense. It was no longer just about winning tournaments, it became a battle for supremacy. How did a seemingly friendly competition between these two turn into one of the most heated rivalries in golf history? Let's dive into the journey of these teenage sensations and discover how their paths collided in such an unforgettable way. Lydia Ko's journey began when she started playing golf at just 5 years old. By the time she turned 14, she was already breaking records, becoming the youngest player to win a professional golf tournament in 2012. Her rise was meteoric, and she was soon making history again by becoming the youngest player, male or female, to be ranked #1 in professional golf at age 17 in 2015. This wasn't just a flash in the pan. Lydia's combination of consistency, poise, and undeniable talent made her a dominant force on the LPGA Tour. Every time she stepped onto the green, she wasn't just playing, she was redefining the possibilities for young athletes in the sport. Meanwhile, Brooke Henderson, a fellow 1997 born talent from Canada, was carving out her own path. Starting her golf journey at a young age, Brooke quickly became a sensation in her home country. By the time she turned 16, she was already one of the top-ranked amateur golfers in the world. Unlike Ko, Brooke didn't immediately gain the same international spotlight, but her talent was impossible to ignore. She won the Canadian Women's Amateur in 2013 and continued to rack up impressive performances, eventually turning professional in 2014. Their paths crossed on the LPGA Tour, and it was clear from the beginning that their competition would be fierce. Both had similar ambitions, both had tasted victory early, and neither was willing to step aside. In 2015, Brooke made headlines when she won the Cambia Portland Classic by a stunning 8 shots, becoming the third youngest winner in LPGA history. This win was a statement. It showed she wasn't just a young player with potential, she was a serious contender. By this time, Lydia was already an established star, but Brooke's victory sent a clear message. She was coming for the throne. Fans and analysts began to draw comparisons, noting their different styles, Ko's finesse and precision versus Henderson's power and aggressiveness. It wasn't long before they faced off in major tournaments, with every head-to-head encounter building more tension between them. This rivalry wasn't just about talent, it became a compelling story of two athletes who, despite their youth, were ready to redefine what it meant to be the best in women's golf. But how did this rivalry escalate into a complete nightmare? Stay tuned to find out. The rivalry between Brooke Henderson and Lydia Ko reached a pivotal moment at the 2016 KPMG Women's PGA Championship. At this major event, the two faced off in what would become an unforgettable showdown. Lydia Ko entered the tournament as the world #1, already holding 2 major titles and dominating women's golf. Brooke Henderson, on the other hand, was the underdog, hungry to make her mark. The final day was nothing short of electrifying. Henderson and Ko battled neck and neck, trading birdies and showcasing their immense talent. In a dramatic finish, they ended up tied, forcing a sudden death playoff. This high-pressure moment would decide the winner. Brooke displayed nerves of steel, hitting a stunning birdie putt on the first playoff hole to defeat Ko. It was a turning point not just for Henderson's career, but for the rivalry itself. Henderson became the youngest winner of the Women's PGA Championship since 1931, sending shockwaves through the golfing world. This victory signified more than just a win. It was a bold statement that she was ready to challenge Ko's dominance. The battle wasn't just about trophies anymore. It became about pride, ambition, and proving who was truly the best. This sudden shift set the stage for an even more intense rivalry in the years to come. After that fateful showdown, the dynamic between Henderson and Ko changed dramatically. Both players were no longer just competitors. They became fierce rivals, each striving to outdo the other. Every tournament became a new chapter in their rivalry narrative, with fans eagerly watching to see who would come out on top. Ko, previously unshakable, began to feel the pressure. Despite her past successes, the dominance she once held was now being challenged by the relentless rise of Henderson. Brooke, riding the momentum from her victory, continued to deliver impressive performances, proving that her win was no fluke. Their encounters on the course became more intense, with each player pushing the other to perform at their absolute best. The media further fueled the rivalry, constantly drawing comparisons between the two. Commentators would analyze every aspect of their games, The way Ko's smooth, calculated approach contrasted with Henderson's aggressive, fearless style. This contrast only made their rivalry more compelling. Whenever they were paired together in tournaments, the tension was palpable. It was no longer just about winning. It was about proving who could handle the pressure and who could rise above the expectations. Off the course, both athletes handled the rivalry with grace, rarely speaking about each other in negative terms. However, it was clear that each victory or loss carried more weight when the other was involved. They were no longer just two young golfers trying to make a name for themselves. They were now two of the biggest stars in women's golf, with a rivalry that had captured the attention of fans worldwide. As the years passed, their rivalry became symbolic of the changing landscape of women's golf, a reminder that in this sport, even the most promising prodigies can be challenged by someone just as talented, just as driven, and just as determined to win. But with every passing tournament, one question lingered. Would their rivalry continue to fuel their rise, or would it eventually lead to their downfall? The rivalry between Brooke Henderson and Lydia Ko wasn't always smooth sailing. It had its fair share of nightmare moments, marked by dramatic shifts in form, public scrutiny, and intense fan debates. One of the most heart-wrenching moments came in 2017 when Lydia Ko faced a series of missed cuts and inconsistent performances. After being hailed as a prodigy, her sudden decline sparked countless rumors about whether the pressure of her rivalry with Henderson had finally taken its toll. Fans speculated endlessly about what was happening behind the scenes. Was Ko overworking herself to keep up with Henderson's rising success, or were her constant changes in swing coaches and caddies causing her downfall? Brooke Henderson, on the other hand, wasn't immune to the challenges of their rivalry. During a stretch of tournaments in 2018, she experienced several near misses, often finishing just behind Ko. In particular, a heartbreaking runner-up finish at the 2018 Marathon Classic after losing to Ko in a nail-biting playoff left Henderson visibly shaken. The media jumped on this, highlighting how the pressure of chasing Ko was beginning to take a mental toll on Brooke, with some suggesting that she might never overcome the psychological barrier of facing her nemesis in high-stakes moments. Fans on both sides were quick to analyze every detail, with social media becoming a battleground for heated discussions. Henderson's fans argued that Ko was using mind games to maintain her edge, while Ko's supporters claimed that Brooke's aggressive style was unsustainable and would ultimately lead to burnout. The drama escalated further in 2019 when Brooke defeated Ko at the Lotte Championship, ending Lydia's hopes of claiming her third consecutive title at that event. This victory was seen as a symbolic passing of the torch, but it also intensified their rivalry, with Ko determined to prove that she wasn't ready to relinquish her throne just yet. Another nightmare moment occurred when Henderson's performance dipped in 2020, right before the pandemic caused a temporary halt in competitions. Speculation swirled about whether the rivalry had finally reached a breaking point, with whispers suggesting that the intense competition between the two might have been wearing Henderson down. Some fans even theorized that the rivalry had become too personal, pointing to moments when the two players appeared to avoid each other during press conferences and post-round interviews. Their rivalry wasn't just a battle of skill, it became a psychological warfare that left both golfers mentally and emotionally drained at times. Many fans couldn't help but wonder, was this rivalry turning into a nightmare that could ruin both their careers? Despite all the ups and downs, this period of intense drama only made their journey even more captivating, proving that sometimes the line between a dream and a nightmare is razor thin. Now, the story of Brooke Henderson and Lydia Ko isn't just about two talented golfers, it's a reflection of how rivalries have shaped the very essence of sports culture. In every sport, rivalries bring an extra layer of excitement, driving athletes to push beyond their limits. Fans become emotionally invested, choosing sides and passionately debating who's better. These narratives, whether in tennis with Federer and Nadal or in basketball with Bird and Magic, become the fuel that makes sports more than just a game. The rivalry between Henderson and Ko introduced a new generation of fans to women's golf, proving that the sport could be just as thrilling, intense, and unpredictable as any other. Their head-to-head battles showcase the spirit of competition and the pursuit of excellence, demonstrating that rivalries are essential in pushing athletes to evolve and redefine the boundaries of their abilities. But with this rivalry came immense pressure. It highlighted the reality that being an elite athlete means constantly living under a microscope, where every success is magnified and every failure is scrutinized. For Brooke and Lydia, their rivalry wasn't just about winning. It was about overcoming the psychological battles, proving proving doubters wrong and redefining what it means to be the best in women's golf. As fans, we crave these rivalries because they bring out the very best and sometimes the most vulnerable moments in our favorite athletes. And in the end, it's these stories, the triumphs, the heartbreaks, and the moments of resilience that remind us why we love sports in the first place. As the years passed, the rivalry between Brooke Henderson and Lydia Ko evolved into mutual respect. Both players experienced highs and lows in their careers, with each achieving significant victories and facing tough setbacks. Lydia struggled with form and swing changes, dropping in the rankings, while Brooke continued to build her legacy with consistent performances. Yet, instead of the rivalry tearing them apart, it seemed to push them to grow stronger. Today, they stand as two of the most recognized names in women's golf, each with her unique journey and accomplishments. Their rivalry, once fueled by fierce competition, has matured into a testament to perseverance and excellence in the sport. So, what do you think? Has this rivalry brought out the best in them, or has it pushed them to their limits? Do you believe we'll see another intense showdown between these two in the future? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible sports stories.